From this day forward, you shall be known as Santa Claus.
One thing about living in Santa Carla I never could stomach. All the damn vampires.
So today's movie I'm going to talk about, it's just turned December. It's December the 1st when I'm filming it. I don't know whether I'll put it out today or tomorrow, depending on when I get finished editing. But today's movie might as well be a Christmas movie, and it's going to be Santa Claus the movie. Santa Claus the movie from 1985.
This day on, now and forever, we will bring our gifts to all the children in all the world.
Now in this movie, David Huddleston, he plays Santa Claus the movie. But he doesn't get top billing in the movie. Dudley Moore, who plays Patch, does. If you look at any disc, I do have a disc somewhere. I've never bought it. But in the Sun newspaper, I got one for free years ago. It was just in a little cardboard box, and I've had it for years. And I just can't find it. So I'll put the box out here. And you can pretend that I do have the box. Like I say, David Huddleston, he plays Santa Claus. But Dudley Moore, he always gets top billing whenever you see this advertised or anything. Because Dudley Moore at the time, he was the big star. Even though it does have John Lithgow in. You know John Lithgow, he's from like Third Rock from the Sun, Cliffhanger, movies like that. Massive star now. I think if they re-released it now, he would be like top name on the box probably. But it should be David Huddleston because, I mean, he's the main guy, isn't he? He's Santa Claus. Always remember renting this movie out. I don't think it was the year it was released, but I remember my dad on Christmas Eve. He pre-ordered it and we had to keep going down because we're waiting for the guy who had it on the night before to bring it back, which was from the local video shop, Sight and Sound in Black Hill. We kept going down, is it in yet? No, it's not in, it's not in, it's not in. We finally got it, watched it Christmas Eve. And I think I've watched that movie every Christmas Eve since. It's one of my favourite movies. It starts off with Santa Claus. He's not actually Santa Claus yet. And he's the local toy maker. And he always gets to these kids to give them toys. Just little wooden carved dolls and stuff like that. But it's really heavy with snow. And as they're trying to get back home, they should have just stayed there. Good job they never. They get stuck in the snow and the reindeers collapse. And then the North Star, it brings down Santa's workshop. It's not Santa's workshop yet, it's just where the elves live. But it brings it down. And all the first half of this movie for me is just completely magical. All just completely magical. Just from the meeting the elves, finding out that he's going to be Santa Claus. There's an excellent scene with the ancient elf. And that is played by Burgess Meredith from Rocky Mick. He comes down and he's this ancient elf and he gives a brilliant speech as you will now be known as Santa Claus.
Henceforth, you will be called Santa Claus.
But as it moves along, it goes all through the ages of time. He's out delivering, he does his first flight and all that type of stuff. And it brings you up to, it's an 80s movie, so it brings you up to the 80s. And there's obviously a lot of toy makers. And one of them is John Lithgow, who plays BZ Toys. And he's the worst kind of toy maker. He uses anything to stuff his animals. It's like, it's full, one of his animals open, not a real animal, like a stuffed bear toy. They cut that open and loads of glass and nails and that fall out. And like in the court, they're shocked and he's going to get banned from selling toys. And then there's another toy and they light that up and it's meant to be like not very flammable and just go as if it's covered in bloody petrol or something like that and just goes up and absolutely brilliant.
We'll bring it out on March 25th and we'll call it Christmas 2!
Like I say, Dudley Moore, he gets sort of star billing in this, even though he gets the job as the head elf, but then he gets fired as the head elf because one of his machines doesn't work. And then he goes off into the world and he runs into BZ. And that's where he makes these candy canes that can make the people fly. He uses the same kind of fairy dust that makes the reindeer fly, puts in just the right amount to make children fly, and they're all getting this under the tree. And everybody's loving Patch and BZ toys, and Santa Claus starts feeling a little bit sorry for himself.
Merry Christmas! It certainly should be.
Unfortunately, I think this movie, I don't think it's going to last the test of time. I think when 80s kids like me die out, I think this movie could die out. I've tried to get my daughter to watch it, but she'll watch a bit and she's not really that bothered. She's not as into it as I am, because she's got the Christmas Chronicles and Christmas Chronicles 2, Elf, all these, Daddy's Home 2, like all these type of movies now, where I think this movie, it doesn't get very good ratings on the internet either, like on IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes. It just, I think when my generation dies, I think this movie could unfortunately die. Hopefully it gets carried on, because I think it's a great movie, great acting. And out of everybody in any movie that I've ever seen play Santa Claus, this guy's the best. John Huddleston, for me, is the best Santa Claus. I think he just pulls the character off to a T. So obviously a very young John Lithgow is in this. He plays BZ. And I think he's really good in this movie. It's obviously before he ever starred in Cliffhanger or Third Rock from the Sun or anything like that. But John Lithgow in this, he's an evil, nasty, money-obsessed, doesn't care about anybody else but himself kind of man. Dudley Moore, he plays a little patchy elf, the elf. And I like just some of his little scenes that he's got in this, like, oh, they just need a little bit of elf confidence and stuff, little things like that, that just make the movie. Like I say, the first half of the movie for me is magical, all the way up until I think they get to the 80s. And then obviously they've got to put a little bit of dramatics in there. They've got to make it a bit drama, and that's where BZ comes into it. It's sort of Santa Claus versus BZ toys. So I'm Mark. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're going to watch it. It's nearly Christmas. Get Santa Claus a movie watch. Don't let this movie die out. Don't let it die out. We've got to keep it going. I'm Mark, and this is For the Love of Movies. Thanks very much. Merry Christmas. Today's movie... What was that? Oh. Today's movie... Oh, hang on. We've got to do the Super Duper Looper. Who shall be known as Santa Claus.
Like an angel on your shoulder, see? And if you ever get hurt and you feel that you're going down, this little angel is going to whisper in your ear. He's going to say, "Get up, you son of a bitch! Because Mickey loves you."